Hi guys, good morning. I thought I'd just do a quick review on my Bosch driver drill combo that I got for Christmas from my wife. As you can see, Bunnings still have the deal going. It's slightly different. When I got it back in Christmas, it had a bonus of this nice pedal grinder and a little 18 volt shop vac. So but the deal is pretty much the same. Seems like now you get a 18 volt reciprocating saw, which look, I think in both cases that's pretty good value. If you believe the 279, I mean, let's just say it's $200 of extra stuff you're getting with it. It also comes with this little spotlight, LED spotlight in the set, 2 3 amp hour batteries, it's fast charger, and yeah, I'll go in a bit more detail with you guys. At the time, I was looking at a lot of options. There's the AEG. As you can see, the good thing with this one, it comes with a hard case and I believe a 6 amp hour and a looks like a 2.5 amp hour battery, but no extra bits and pieces. Makita, they've got a pretty good deal going. Looks like you can get a third battery via redemption, also $500. Also brushless. The virtues of the various, obviously I don't have all these tools, so I can't tell you which ones or which brand's better, and whatever. You got to think Makita's a long-standing brand. DeWalt, they're $4.99, and they have these mangy, it doesn't even say in the description how many amp hours. To me, it looks like 1.5 when I look at the photograph, which is pretty average. In fact, pretty below average. Well, you get basically this wonderful torch and these extra tools via redemption, which again, let's just say that's $200 extra. You could go and sell these on eBay or Trade Me and probably get a few $100 for them anyway. So bank your savings. You could probably, let's just say you're really desperate, you could probably sell both these, the grinder and the vacuum. I imagine you could probably get at least $150 to $100 for them. So that's $400 if you use that to justify it to yourself. As if you don't want any of those bits and pieces. So I guess that was one of the reasons it pitched it over to me. Interestingly, I see the new set comes with a belt hook on the hammer drill. When I got it, it only came on the impact driver, and it looks like there's a sort of loop thing here they've added to it. So for lanyard or whatever, that looks pretty handy. Again, but other than that, they look pretty much the same. When you get your set from this bag's in a bit of a mess, so my apologies. You get 2 of these batteries. They're fast charged. They slide into the base of the units, as you can see, as is standard these days. I'll actually just compare the battery to my Ryobi battery, which probably not a very fair comparison, because this is a 5 amp hour as opposed to the 3 amp hour. But I will say something, and having used this outside, one thing I never realized with the indicator that you get here, when you work out in the sun doing sort of landscaping work, I was actually I was using the drill driver in the summer. I was using it on my deck and doing some retaining work, so it was really bright sunlight. And when I was using this battery with my reciprocating saw, you could barely see the lights, the indicator lights which, you know, when you work indoors, you don't really know, it's not really a problem, but it's actually a bit of a pain in the ass compared to these puppies here, which, you know, they're really bright. And I will say that's a nice little plus. Also, with the fast charger, this has, and why it's so big is because it's got a fan in it, and why it can charge faster is because when these come hot out of your tools, see that the Ryobi charger, when I'm using it, that won't charge until the battery's cool enough. This thing, you slip it on and it goes straight away. But it makes a sort of a fan noise in the background, which, you know, I guess if you in a garage, or if it's in your garage, it's not too much of a pain in the butt. It's also quite interesting when you look at these two batteries side by side. The Ryobi battery isn't much bigger than the Bosch battery, even though it's only 3 amp hour as opposed to 5 amp hour. But one thing I will say is I think with the Bosch battery, they've actually left a lot of room here for these sort of, you can see them in here, these metal sort of like diffusers to basically dissipate that heat. And whereas this is just, you know, packed full of battery, I imagine. So it's actually, yeah, this is quite light compared to that. The other thing is this is full of little rubber bits and pieces, which probably add to the weight. The way these also deploy into your tools, I find it usually gets a bit of a rock on these. They don't feel as secure as a sliding system. And yeah, so basically, again, it's very difficult to compare apples to apples. And, you know, with this one being used on brushless tools, it seemed to get, yes, I went, when I was using my old, the drill, the impact driver, this thing was just going the whole day on one of those. I think I charged it, I swapped the batteries, did the old tag team with the other battery that comes in the pack, and didn't really have any problems. And the great thing is, if you're doing the old tag team between batteries, because this thing, look, I think it probably, I haven't done an accurate thing, but I reckon it charges this in less than an hour. But yeah, it's really hard to compare, you know, if this is a 5 amp hour battery or not. I thought going down to the 3 amp hour battery would be a problem, but to be honest, no problem at all. Like I said, I was out doing some landscaping and had no issues. This thing with my reciprocating saw, again, just seemed to chew through power on this thing, and that's a whole other review I'll do on that. But anyway, so yeah, no issue with the battery. And, you know, to be honest, if you know, like me, who's a sort of DIYer, weekend warrior style person, the 2-3 amp hour batteries are actually probably better, because if then putting a big chunky 6 or 5 amp hour battery, because the weight isn't that much. You can keep them on the charger. You can have, you know, 2 tools. You can do your countersinking with this, with your the drill, and then come in with your impact driver. Now again, I'll put some B-roll onto on the end of this with these in action, but I don't know if you can see that. That there was one of the sort of hex thing, and the hex drill bit that you use for your bugle screws, and you can see the amount of wear on that. It's obviously not a Bosch tool, but I wondered why you got 2 in the pack. These things thrash it, and I could actually see sort of little shavings of steel coming off the drill from the force that was being putting into it. So, you know, if you got 2 thoughts about getting a impact driver, I say get this thing, especially if you're doing any landscaping, any timber decking, that sort of work, just totally invaluable. The amount of and it's also handy just having 2 tools that you can switch between, if that. But the torque these things put on the on those screws and the driver head is just insane. So again, I was putting in 100mm bugle screws into wet macrocarpus sleepers, and it just smoked it, no problems. So again, I'll try to get some B-roll on the back of this. The drill again, no problems. Use that with a 60mm auger bit, no problems. You know, I won't go through all the functions because they are pretty much standard in every drill you've probably ever used. It's got the hammer function, the drill function and drill driver function right at the end. It's obviously you control your speed with the trigger, and direction is quite easy to switch between. Again, ergonomics is pretty good. This has a sort of gyro, so that you know, if you hit something hard and the drill twists, as they tend to do, it'll shut the drill down. And so again, I've had that experience from other drills, mainly cord drills, but I haven't really tried that one in action. This has also got the Bluetooth function, and honestly, I haven't used that. I will say, if you are going to use the app that you need to use for the Bluetooth, it does have some great features on there, like you can take photographs, add measurements to those photographs, save them, and then, you know, when you run down to Bunnings or wherever, you can go, you know, check those measurements pretty quickly. So it's got some nice little handy tools that, and it's free. You don't actually have to have a Bosch tool to use that app. It's 100% free. So if you've got a Android or a iPhone device, go out and give that a crack. Again, this is the little mic that came with it. I haven't used it too much, if I'm really honest. It's just flicks out like that and slips the battery in. It probably gives the equivalent light of a sort of LED downlight. It says 420 lumen, so it's not bad. I've seen better, but again, and it's got the sort of function where you can go for a more diffuse or a more of a sharper spotlight function. Again, slide it into that fella and you'll be away. Yeah, so all in all, I would say Bosch, no problems, go grab it. 6-year warranty, as you can see here. And yeah, so again, just like Ryobi, they have an online warranty system, which I have used that quite a bit for Ryobi actually, and it's been pretty good. So Bosch, hopefully I don't have to use it, but I think as well, just one thing to consider when you guys going out and buying drills, and you know, everyone goes on about the One Plus thing with Ryobi, and I was thinking of getting a Ryobi tool, but to be honest, these are probably tools you'll use for years to come. And yeah, especially when it comes to the drills, it's probably the most commonly used tool. So spend a bit of extra cash. You know, in my case, I didn't have a lot of Ryobi batteries, so there's no benefit to me getting more. And I've had problems with Ryobi quality in some of my other tools, which I will have another video on. And yeah, basically, don't compromise. Get something good. Again, you can have a debate about Makita, DeWalt's, you know, and they probably are on the surface of things a bit pricier than these, but you know, I really think for, you know, heavy household use and tradies, shouldn't have a problem with these at all. So give them a go. Yeah, hopefully everyone's getting used to the shutdown and not too badly, and you're getting out doing some work. But anyway, lots of love to all of you. Cheers, bye.